Hi guys, this is Soccer Kalitz, as you know, the show that brings you all the latest in football and football related news. And today I'm bringing you the show of my preview of the Champions League final that's going to be taking place. We're going to be having Coach Thomas Tuchel versus Mr. Pep Guardiola, the serial winner. And then we have Pep has also won the league already, and yeah, Chelsea's season has fallen apart a bit these last few months or so, because you could see that they weren't that type of team that they were before. But nonetheless, you can't take anything away from Mr. Thomas Tuchel. He did a great job with Chelsea. He has already beaten Pep Guardiola actually 2 times in the FA Cup and also in the league. So that goes to show that he does actually know what he's doing, and he did build a great Chelsea team. Not the fact that he bought any players, but he just built that cohesion in the Chelsea team and that belief that they can achieve something special. Guys like Timo Werner and Kai Havertz were misfiring under the previous manager, which was Mr. Frank Lampard. And since they fired him and the Germans came in, Chelsea has improved a lot. Even Rudiger and Thiago Silva's defensive partnership has been solid. He's brought back the captain, Aspilicueta. Him and Reece James has been sharing that position on the left-hand side. He had Mr. Ben Chilwell. He's just chilling well. But that is going to be a totally different game, guys. Just to tell you, this is not going to be one of those easy finals. This is going to be a definite final that's going to be won by the guys that makes the mistakes. As you know, what happened to Manchester United previously on Wednesday night. They didn't, not to say they didn't take the chances, but they started the game too slow, and that was the reason why they couldn't get into their groove. And also Mr. Unai Emery had a great plan and a tactic into stifling the attack of Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes and those guys couldn't even play. So Thomas Tuchel also had similar patterns that he did versus Pep Guardiola, but we're going to get into that a little bit later. Let me just show you the preview of the boys. So the final is being played in Portugal. We have Mr. Foden there, Mr. Kevin De Bruyne, Mr. Ruben Dias for the City team. And on the other hand, we have Mr. N'Golo Kante, Thiago Silva, and Mr. Ben Chilwell. All of these players are going to have a big role to play, especially in the midfield, because it's going to be N'Golo Kante's task to make sure that Phil Foden doesn't do what he wants to do and just run around unattached. So this game has to be really, the tactics has to be spot on, that Thomas Tuchel is going to attempt on this game. But with that being said, Chelsea hasn't been in the greatest of form these last 10 games, ever since they came to Arsenal and they had that loss against Arsenal. They never looked like the same team again. So there's a bit of belief. I think there's a bit of belief that went out of Chelsea once they lost to the Gunners. But nonetheless, they have to shake that off, because they also had a loss against Leicester, and that was also a lackluster performance, not like the Chelsea team that we saw 10 games prior to that. So there's really something missing, and also the injury to N'Golo Kante was probably part of it. But if you have a squad like Chelsea's, you can't blame injuries on your season. On the other hand of the spectrum, Pep Guardiola has already won the league. Mr. Ruben Dias has already won a trophy for a player's something. And then Mr. Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden, they are definitely going to look to pull the strings. Guys, what is important in this final is to remember that this final, there's not going to be any room for mistakes. You saw what happened to Manchester United. Lindelof just switched off and then they punished him. Right, and with that being said, let's quickly just look at how they might potentially line up. So on the Chelsea side, we have in front the attack of Mr. Mount, Werner and Hakim Ziyech. That's going to lead the line. And then we have Mr. Jorginho and Kante, who's going to be in the middle of the park trying to stuff all the lines of Pep Guardiola. On the overlapping runs, we're going to have Ben Chilwell and Mr. Reece James. That's also going to be doing their overlapping runs to support the midfield players, but also help out in attack, because those are both very attacking fullbacks. Rudiger, Silva and Azpilicueta has done well. And then Mendy is obviously injured, so Mendy is going to be out of that picture. That's a real blow for Chelsea, because now they have to make use of Mr. Kepa, and we all know Mr. Kepa Rizibangala hasn't been one of the most trustworthy servants of the Chelsea team. He has always had his own type of stuff, especially the thing that he did to Sarri. I think that was the final straw when Sarri tried to substitute him and he didn't want to come off, and that just signaled lots of problems. But nonetheless, they have Mr. Kepa there, so Kepa has to stand in for Mr. Mendy, and I hope he can do a great job, because there's a lot of attack going to come to him. Rudiger, Silva and Azpilicueta, they have been solid at the back as a partnership. Nothing has come past, like I said when they started, nothing has come past Mr. Rudiger, Mr. Silva and Azpilicueta. They have been brilliant for Chelsea. They haven't been shipping many goals, but if it is a goal, it is really something, just a small little error or mistake. Chilwell, I think, is going to play a big role in this game in terms of stopping the likes of Mahrez or Walker, who's going to try and overlap him. They're going to try and exploit that position of Ben Chilwell, because they know he's an overlapping runner. And then on the other hand side, we have Reece James, and then Sterling and Raul Cancelo can also exploit those spaces terribly, because we know City has a team that is full of class, full of quality, that can change any situation at any time. They know how to run between the lines, they know how to change the game, they know how to change the pace of the game. So Jorginho and Kante, they're going to have to be solid in midfield if they have any chance of winning this game, because I think that's where the game is going to be won or lost. It's going to be in the middle of the park, because we're going to have the guys like what's his name, Foden and De Bruyne, and obviously Mahrez and Sterling and Gundogan wanting to try and exploit those positions coming through the middle of the park. So N'Golo Kante is going to have to put in those performances that he did against Real Madrid, that he did against the other teams this whole season, that got them to the final. So there's big pressure on Chelsea, on Kante and Jorginho. Up front, they've opted to go with Mount. In attack, Mount, Werner and Hakim Ziyech. I think that is a good attack. I don't think there's anything wrong with that attack. I think that attack is good enough to cause any defense problems. But the thing is just, are they going to link up? Are they going to link up correctly and do what they need to do to win this game? Because City, like I said, the man mountain there behind, whose name is Mr. Ruben Diaz, he doesn't let anything come past him. He has that turn of pace, he knows how to read the game, and he's a brilliant defender. Going to the team of City, Gabriel Jesus will be leading the line. Riyad Mahrez is also up there. Then we have Kevin De Bruyne and Mr. Sterling, Fernandinho and Gundogan. Like I said, guys, this game, Chelsea and City have both got a lot of talent that they're going to be on show that day, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Please join me for the watch along as we're going to experience the game together. Please leave your comments in the comment link below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Please leave a like, as it helps the channel to grow. So then we have Kyle Walker and Mr. Raul Cancelo, also very attacking fullback. So with that being said, there's going to be spaces in behind those guys, because Cancelo is going to push up, Sterling is going to push up, which means James can exploit that position. It's almost like a game of chess. Both of them have very attacking fullbacks. It's just a case of how are they going to manage it. So with that being said, let's just look a little bit further into what Thomas Tuchel and the guys had to say on that. So Thomas Tuchel said he's drawing on our 2 games against Manchester City. Under Thomas Tuchel, we analyzed some of the tactical talking points that could prove critical in tomorrow's Champions League final. So this is from the Standard Evening. The Blues will be trying to repeat their recent FA Cup and Premier League successes against the newly crowned English champions, but know the task will be very heavy. So the first thing that Thomas Tuchel needs to do, that he has done previously, which worked very well for him he was breaching the line of the City defense. Those two games that he won, he was always breaching the line, and you could see there was a vulnerability at the back for City once he started to break that lines. So Pep Guardiola likes his defense to play high up the pitch, and that was an area that the Blues exploited in the two recent encounters. Like I said, Pep is a very attacking-minded coach, as we all know, and that is just the way he's going to play football. You're not going to change Pep's mindset over football. You're not going to change anything. That is just the way he likes to do things. But he likes to overload the box with a lot of attacking players, because he makes the simple maths that once there's the more bodies there is in the box, or the more bodies there is in front of the ball, the better the chances of you retaining the ball. If I could just go a bit and zoom into that sequence that Hakim Ziyech did against Manchester City. So as you could see, he was mainly focused on running on the left-hand side. So that means if he's going to start on the left-hand side, he's going to be taking on the likes of Sterling again and Mr. Cancelo, and that is really an area for Chelsea to exploit, because Pep knows what Chelsea is going to do and what Chelsea is capable of, but does he know how to stop it? That is the question. Mr. Mendy is also there. I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. Timo Werner was notably the beneficiary of that high line. As you could see, Timo Werner was always breaking that high line of the City defense. At the end earlier this month, City's defense remained high. On one occasion in the first half, Werner lashed onto a long ball before Edison, but was forced wide. After the break, the speed and energy of Reece James, Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi running beyond helped change the game's momentum, and it was a Werner dart into the space that enabled him to set up Marcos Alonso for that winning goal. I remember that goal. Like he said, when the running strength of Callum Hudson-Odoi comes onto the pitch, Chelsea looks like a better team. But if Hudson-Odoi starts a game, is not that effective, but once he comes onto the pitch, like against Arsenal, the game really changed in the favour of Chelsea, and Arsenal was pinned back because Hudson-Odoi was breaking the lines on each and every occasion. He was beating defenders in and out on each and every occasion. He's really an underrated player which needs more game time under Thomas Tuchel so that he can reach his full potential. But the first thing that they need to do, Chelsea needs to do, is breach the high line of Pep's defense. This is the average positions that they take up, the positions that Pep take up. So as you can see, lots of space, right behind number 3, number 14 and number 6. It's only the goalkeeper there. So if you can have runners who's going to time their runs very nicely, like Timo Werner, like you can say Kai Havertz, maybe if he's going to play, and Mason Mount, if they can time their runs brilliantly and breach that high line, they're going to be devastating. It's going to be devastating for Pep. But Pep is not going to change the way he plays. He's going to stick to that because that's what he knows, and that's how he's going to take on the final. And this man, Mr. Ruben Dias, is going to be critical in that thing, because this is the man that no one can get past. He's like a man mountain. So he deserves all the praises that he's getting this season from the Premier League and from the players. The second thing that Chelsea needs to do, they need to channel the space. Werner likes to run between the fullback and centre-back, occupying both, and Thomas Tuchel will be hoping Mason Mount can profit from that if he's deployed in a wide forward position. Like I said, breaching the high line. In our run to the Champions League final, Mount has rallies drifting off the touchlines into pockets of space between the lines. It was similar story at Wembley, where he was instrumental in dragging City's players out of position. If he and Werner can keep the likes of Kyle Walker and Ruben Dias busy, other players perhaps like Ziyech and Pulisic could benefit, and that's definitely true. If Timo Werner is going to do his running and taking players out of position, that's going to open up spaces for dribblers like Hakim Ziyech and Pulisic, because we know they can both dribble a ball, and especially Pulisic, he's almost like a little Eden Hazard. I think we're gonna see the best of Pulisic if he just has a solid season without any injuries. But he can be devastating if he has the chance. And if Werner opens up that spaces and occupies the defenders like the likes of Kyle Walker and Ruben Dias, there's definitely going to be space for Ziyech and Pulisic to go into, and they can benefit from that. And then you can just see what Manchester City and Chelsea's predicted lineup is looking like, and also the confirmed squad and injury updates for the Champions League. So Pep Guardiola is expected to keep faith with the striker list for Manchester City as they look to beat Chelsea in the Champions League final. Guardiola has a fully fit squad to choose from as they look to win his third Champions League as a manager and the first for City as a club. Even so, the City boss has 3 issues to resolve: left back, central midfield, and his front 3. Guardiola is likely to opt with a false 9 approach with Kevin De Bruyne, the focal point, supported by Phil Foden and Riyad Mahrez. Sergio Aguero will be hoping to get off the bench for his final minutes in a City shirt. I hope that Sergio Aguero can actually start that game, man. Just for his final send off, because I think he deserves to play in that final. I think he deserves to get minutes. Okay, even if he don't start the game, just give him some minutes to come on, to maybe to change the game or maybe to win the game. What a storyline that would be if Sergio Aguero scores the winning goal for Manchester City. He was the first one to win their title. Now he's going to be the first one to win their Champions League title. That would be a great send-off for him. So if I were Pep, I would make sure that we win this thing for Sergio, and that we do our best to give Sergio some minutes. Further back, Rodri and Fernandinho may both find themselves starting to handle N'Golo Kante and Jorginho, partnered by more attacking-minded Ilkay Gundogan. Bernardo Silva will be vying for a starting spot. Yeah, Bernardo Silva has fallen out of favour with Pep, especially with the emergence of Riyad Mahrez, and Sterling has also not featured that much with the emergence of Phil Foden. So the City squad is definitely evolving. There's more competition as usual, and Bernardo Silva has to play for his spot. João Cancelo is in a battle with Zinchenko for the left-hand side in defence, and the latter may consider himself the favourite after Cancelo missed out on the matchday squad for the win over Everton. Yeah, so that's also a position that Pep needs to think about. Who's he going to start there, Zinchenko or João Cancelo? Because this is a very important game and he needs to know what he wants to do. Is he going to be attacking-minded? Is he going to overlap or what? So tactically wise, I don't want to be Pep making that decision between those two players, because they are both great players with great quality. So the Manchester City predicted 11 I've got for you. In goal, Ederson. Then we have Walker, Stones and Diaz, and Zinchenko making up the back 4. In the middle of the park, the 3 is Gundogan, Rodney and Bernardo. So yeah, maybe Bernardo Silva is going to get the match. Who knows? Gundogan, Rodri and Bernardo Silva, are they enough to penetrate the middle field? I'm not so sure. But then we have Mahrez, De Bruyne and Foden. So those guys, we definitely know they can change the game and they can do something. So De Bruyne, Foden and Mahrez up front, that's a dangerous combination. In support of Bernardo Silva and Gundogan, Rodriguez just stay back and make it solid. Goalkeepers will be Ederson, Scott Carson, Zach Stevens and James. Then Thomas Tuchel has named his full 25-man squad for Saturday's Champions League final against Manchester City. Tuchel and his players flew out to Gatwick Airport to Porto on Thursday already afternoon ahead of this week's huge English final. So they're already there, guys. Just acclimatizing to the conditions, getting used to the place, because you don't want to be traveling late. I don't know what time Pep traveled there, but yeah, each manager on their own, each one has their own way of doing things. And to say this is Thomas Tuchel's second final, so it's not in a row, I think. Yeah, I think last year was in the final with PSG, this year's in the final with Chelsea, which means there's progress and which means this guy knows what he's doing when it comes to finals, or the Champions League at least. But he has done great work. Chelsea guys, you have to be grateful for that coach. Give him time so that he can work his magic. N'Golo is looking good, and I hope he stays like that for Saturday. That's the comment that the coach made. And if N'Golo is looking good, if N'Golo plays good, Chelsea plays good. Edu made a huge improvement with the management of pain from where the injury happened. So this is what the squad for Chelsea looks like. It's going to be Mendy, Kepa and Willy Calabero. He's also there. The defenders is going to be Antonio Rudiger, Marcos Alonso, Christian Santiago Silva, Kurt Zuma, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Aspilicueta and Emerson. In midfield we have Jorginho and N'Golo Kante, Kovacic, Mason Mount, Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Billy Gilmore, and I don't know that other guy. Up front we have Tammy Abraham, Pulisic, Timo Werner, Olivier Giroud, Hakim Ziyech and Kai Havertz. So Kai Havertz has travelled, so he's definitely going to get some minutes, guys. So with that being said, the Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel already knows how to beat Man City in the Champions League final. Oh, you hear that statement? Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel already knows how to beat Manchester City in the Champions League final. Chelsea looks on with Manchester City in the final. As we all know, the head coach Thomas Tuchel will be looking to lay his hands on the UEFA Champions League trophy for the first time in his managerial career when his side locks horns with Manchester City in the final on Saturday evening in Porto. The Blues will secure a 4th place finish in the Premier League this season on Sunday afternoon despite suffering a 2-1 defeat at Villa Park against Aston Villa. Will be looking to complete what has been a memorable journey that has featured wins over Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid on a high. But whilst Chelsea will not be short on confidence purely because of the scalps they have claimed along the route to the final, they will know just how tough a test it is, will be standing between themselves and ensuring the most coveted prize in European football is part of their hand luggage for the return trip to the West London. So guys, there's a lot laying on this thing, and Thomas Tuchel has a lot of experience when it comes to Champions League finals, because like I said, he has already had one. So yeah guys, with that being said, just to end off, those are the two guys who's going to be playing in the final. Who's your team? Who are you going to support tonight? Are you blue or are you sky blue? I'm going to keep my comments reserved for these two passionate managers. Then we have, let's just enlarge those guys, the Easter and N'Golo Kante, Thiago Silva, and then Chilwell. No, that's Mason Mount, sorry. They all want this thing with the big ears. That's what it's all about. You see how Kevin is looking at it, Ruben Diaz is looking at it. These guys are all wanting it. So this is the potential 11. Like I said, I don't want to go back to it, but this is the potential 11 that I set out. Tell me what you think of the 11. Do you like the 11, or would you make some changes on the 11? Right guys, with that being said, please join me for the watch along that we'll be doing on Saturday night, especially when the game plays. We're going to be doing the watch along live on the Champions League final, so please join us for that. This is #Kalitz. Please like, subscribe and join the channel if you like, and if you like the content and you want more of this content, please like the channel, please subscribe to the channel so that we can grow this channel and be more viable. This is #Kalitz signing out.